at the Exxon Valdez in 1980.
And you realize very quickly that this cap, I mean, is not really that effective. And what they made a BP. Watch their news feed. You know, it's kind of funny. It's kind of like a sad and sick and twisted game to watch their PR machine trying to cover up lie after lie after lie. You know, if you need a good laugh, just go on Yahoo News and check out they're spinning BP every 5 minutes. Last night it was the cap.
They must get their same sources from Barack Obama because he does the same freaking thing.
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
Oh, I said that they must interpret that from Barack Obama because he does the same thing.
Yeah, I don't know who. You know, there seems to be a giant, one big press machine running right now, which is just a bunch of spin. But you know, the cap goes, and the nuclear theories go, and everything that's circling around. Yeah, I've heard a lot of theory about the possibility of them wanting to do some sort of nuclear explosion down there to try to mend the rock. Read anything about what nuclear even underwater nuclear bombs do. They open things up, and that's the last thing we want. And I know we were going to talk about this later, but I have a lot to say and a lot of research I've been doing specifically on the methane bubble and the theories of that and how it all sort of correlates to what you're asking.
I was just about to jump into that.
All right. Well, I don't know if you want to give your listeners a little background, but I could do it for you if you want.
Oh, you have the floor. Go ahead. Go ahead.
All right. So, you know, we started hearing about this methane bubble, actually not from Richard Hoagland. We were hearing it all over the place for a few days. I had even heard it before I came out here. But you know, it was enough that at the time, I mean, I was so naive. We all were. It seemed so implausible and so, you know, unthinkable that this would even be a possibility that I kind of myself, as a lot of people do, just brushed it under the surface. We started doing a lot of homework. Heather, who's on Team Project Gulf Impact specifically, did a lot of research into it. I mean, we all did, Gavin and Rich, myself. But I was very alarmed at the amount of people that were talking about this. So I did some homework, and here's what I think to fully understand. This is going to take me a few minutes, but I think it's really imperative that it gets out there because there's one or two sources that I did my homework on this. So I think to really grasp the methane bubble, you really have to go back in time, like way back. You know, like I said, when I heard about theory and you know, it just really started spinning around in my head that maybe this isn't the first instance of a methane bubble, you know.
Oh, yeah.
So we did all this research, and, you know, if you do any amount of homework on methane and explosions and volcanoes and all these things they're talking about, you really quickly learn about Professor Paul Wignow and who he is. He's a paleontologist at the University of Leeds. And you start to see his findings on the Permian extinction, which, for those of you who don't know, it was an extinction that killed 95% of the marine life and 70% of terrestrial life on Earth 250-some-odd million years ago. It happened in a province in China. It unleashed, I think it was 500,000 cubic kilometers of lava and like, massive quantities of sulfur dioxide. And then you have to move forward from there. And to 55 million years ago, there was an article released and confirmed by NASA in 2001. And I'm sure they're just so upset that they still have this out there, but I had to dig hard to get it. But it talks about the discovery of a tremendous methane gas explosion that happened about 55 million years ago near the Gulf, raising the Earth's temperatures 13 degrees Fahrenheit. The report talks about methane sources, and it goes into you know, the decomposing organic materials, the aided emissions from coal mining, all the different ways that methane can be in the atmosphere. But what it really goes in depth, and again, this article is 9 years old, but it starts talking about a much more deadly source, which is methane that is formed from decomposing ocean sediments frozen in deposits under the seabed, which caused the explosion 55 million years ago. Now let's go to today. Okay, so here we are, 2010, and you have the survivors of the rig, of Deepwater, going on CNN and talking about a BP official coming on board that morning, the morning of April 20th, wanting workers to replace the heavy mud that they used to keep the pressure down with a lighter seaweed to help speed up a process that was costing them, in some reports you read, $750,000 a day. BP won, and we all lost. Again, they won, we lost, and I think more than we even know yet. Reports of unstable geology of the site are everywhere. They drilled into a zone that they knew was dangerous. methane hydrate, it's been reported by BP, even caused the explosion. I mean, it was kind of buried really quick right in the beginning, but you could see the reports on there. Bottom line is BP may have caused some irreversible chain of events that I hope to God and I pray every day are not true.